Xbox, Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. If you'd like to find out more, head to xboxrecordthis.com. Oh, hello. DaddyDWALLY here, and welcome to Xbox Record This, episode 52, Jose. 1 year. We didn't miss a week. One of the things I'm most proud of, 52 straight episodes. Seriously, you guys, we should all have a round of applause for ourselves for doing such an accomplishment. It is very difficult to hit every week. And this is one thing I learned from our old friends at Sacred Symbols and Call Moriarty. He's always like, you can't miss a week. You need to be consistent. So in this celebration of an episode, joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you, my friend?
I am excellent today, sir. Excited to celebrate 1 year of this fantastic show, which has been an awesome addition to my life. And also just life is good right now, man. Like we're getting excited for the end of the year. Obviously it's a busy time at work, but it's a good busy, right? It's everybody like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're getting ready for summer. And in games world, there is just a lot going on right now, which is exciting. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So I'm super excited, man. Thank you for having me.
And also joining us as always, the creator of this legendary merch right here, this Hideo Kojima podcast, XRT official hoodie. Don't worry, that'll be on our merchandise site here shortly. Jose is in charge of that. It's going to be a 48-hour merch drop, so get on it. Each hoodie is $150. So joining me as always, the assistant to the coat. I'm just kidding, guys.
Yeah, worth every penny. That's cheap.
Bubble Boy and Seven, how are you?
Oh, so excited to be here. So I thought I was possibly going to have to miss this episode, which would have just been traumatic. So can't wait. I have my toast ready. I've been sampling some Mystic Mountain Outlaw White Peach whiskey, and it's not great. But
okay, yeah. Do you see my drink behind me? A little spoiler warning, I guess.
That's a host drink right there.
I can't see anything. The screens are so small before they get recorded. When we're just on here, I can't see what you have.
It's a bottle of Patron.
Jose, Chance, if you drag your screen to the halfway to the left or right, it actually forces it into a wide screen. At least it does for me, so I can see more. I don't know if you want to try that, but let's move on, you guys, straight into shout-outs, one of my favorite parts of the show. I have to give a huge XRT shout-out, and he just commented on two of my personal YouTube videos. He's been following DaddyDWALLY from the beginning. Shout-out to Freddie Torres on YouTube. He wrote on my latest vlog. Go check it out. I thought it was pretty good. My best one yet. Hey, bro. Great podcast show you got. I've been following you for a long time, brother. I wrote back to him. I said, thanks so much. Please write to the show, Freddie. We really appreciate it. And he said, you're welcome, brother. I'm so proud of you that you're working hard every day, continuing to reach your dreams. My stupid, sorry. Reach your goals. God on your side all the time. Never give up. The key of success. You already know that. Your brother always believe in you. I'm looking forward to listening to you on your next show this week. You're my brother and part of the family. So shout out again. Thank you so much, Freddie Torres, my brother on YouTube. Really do appreciate that. One of our XRT listeners from the beginning. So shout out to Freddie. Glad to get you in here. Please write us in the future. Next shout out comes from another follower who's been here from the beginning, and that would be X Bacon Gamin. Bacon writes on YouTube on our last episode. This is, of course, in relationship to who would be the better adventurer, Lara Croft or Nathan Drake. And Bacon writes, definitely Lara Croft, fellas. Tomb Raider reboot is in my top 10 of all-time games.
Yeah, you still spelled Laura wrong.
I'll let it slide. I bought a PS3 to play Uncharted because of all the hype, and I didn't finish it, and then sold my PS3 shortly after. And then we got another write-in from, he's also been on the show, one of the first and longest listeners, from Jbizzle over on our email. Jose, where can people write to us?
You can always write to us on Xbox, record this at gmail.com, or on all social medias. Our DMs are wide open.
Slide on in, right, Jose? Jbizzle writes, too late. I'm ashamed to call myself a math teacher after hearing Bubble Boy and Seven's list his countdown last week as number 5, number 6, number 3, number 2, number 1.
Boom.
We failed you, Chance.
Roasted.
And anyway, I just watched The Batman on HBO Max, and I wondered what your top 5 actors who played the Batman would be. Here are mine. Number 5, Ben Affleck. Not great, but good enough to entertain. Number 4, Robert Pattinson. Really did enjoy him as Batman. However, he was not good as Bruce Wayne, and I consider both parts in my rating. Number 3, Kevin Conroy, voice of Batman in Arkham series and animated series. He'd be higher, but since he didn't technically act, that's debatable, Jbiz, as Batman, I'd leave him at number 3. Number 2, Christian Bale, my favorite generation of all the Batman movies. He'd be number 1 if not for his Batman voice. I still think his voice distortion was way too much. And number 1, of course, Jbizzle has Michael Keaton. The original Bat in Black is still iconic. He was by far the best at being both Batman and Bruce Wayne. Even though that movie doesn't age as well as some of the others, it is still great. I have so much nostalgia from the first movie, but let's not talk about Batman Returns. Can't wait to hear your opinion, fellas. Thanks, Jbizzle. I will go first on my Batman list here, Jbiz, because I have a feeling we're going to have pretty much all the same here. Well, at least I have all the same as you, but I have it in a different order. Oh, Jose is shaking his head. No, he's got a completely
So is
different
Bubble
order.
Boy.
All right, well, Jbiz, here's my the definitive Batman actors list. Of course, as always, DaddyDWALLY. Number 5, Michael Keaton, Jbiz. Respect to the man who basically brought it to the mainstream. I'm sorry, but what's his face? Adam West. I'm not going to have Adam West on here. Honorable mention to Adam West.
Well, have
Number
you actually
4.
seen any of the Adam West ones?
Yes, I watched the movie. Don't even give me that
Okay.
caca.
Hey,
Number 4, Batfleck. I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. He's pretty gritty, and I did appreciate it, so I have no problem with that. Number 3, I'm putting this. I have to say this right now. For now, because we're going to see what happens with the next film, is Robert Pattinson. Killed it. Loved. We need to talk about this in general, guys, right after this. The Batman. Maybe the best overall Batman to me. He was incredible as Batman. I loved it so much. We're going to talk about this in a second, but as far as detectives go, he's the best. Number 2, just edging him out for now, like I said, because he's got a whole trilogy under his belt, was Christian Bale. He does a better Wayne, but Pattinson is on his ass for sure when it comes to becoming Batman. And number 1, Kevin Conroy from the animated series and, of course, all the Arkham series games. When I think of Batman and the voice of Batman, immediately he comes to mind, and I don't. So iconic. And I remember I didn't know that he was the voice in the video games, and when I started Arkham Asylum, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm all in on this. So shout out to Kevin Conroy, Jbizzle. Voice acting is acting, and just because we didn't see him physically doesn't mean he's not acting his little buns off. So who would like to go next on their definitive Batman actors list?
Let me go next because Chance. I think
Chipotle.
Chance will have the most
It's
history.
gonna be
behind
dramatic.
his.
It's gonna be like comic book actors or something like that.
I mean, maybe that's not out of the realm. So my honorable mention goes to one that I bet neither of you have on your list, and that is Will Friedle. Either of you know which Batman he voiced by chance? He actually voiced Batman in Batman Beyond. So in Batman Beyond, which was a cartoon series, there's an old Bruce Wayne that's like in the cave, but there's the new Batman. He's got the red bat on his chest. I really liked that show a lot. So shout out to Will. He played Terry McGinnis and Batman. Number 5, I actually put Adam West as number 5. Yes, Adam West does have a kind of a silly, iconic voice that we think of, but the truth is, like, he's the great granddaddy of this, right? He was one of the first big Batmans we ever went about. And yes, I know like it's silly in hindsight compared to the modern ones we have, but at the time it was rad, man. And there were some pretty
How
dope
many of those
actors.
have you actually watched, though?
I've watched a lot of them. Like Cesar Romero was the Penguin, right? Like I remember watching them. They were great, man. And as a side, just a little
They
homage.
were great. Great comedy,
For the time they were great. The Batmobile during those, I think, was an iconic Batmobile. Is it the one we love today? No, but it's iconic nonetheless. And
I would agree.
As a shout out, because I'm a big shoe guy, Nike actually just released Air Maxes. If you like Air Maxes, in the old Batman colors, like that light gray with the yellow and black, they look super dope. I may pick those up. We'll see. So that's my number 5. Number 4 for me. I know you're gonna laugh, but I thought he was a good Bruce Wayne and Batman. That's one George Clooney. Right, he was America's first ass. Right, when they did like the close-up shots.
I'm cutting him off, Chance. I'm cutting him off. I'm cutting off. He's done.
Let me do my list.
Continue,
Let me do my list.
We didn't say best Ocean's 11 actors or best subpar Ocean 11 actors.
He was the sexiest man alive in his time. Don't hate George Clooney. Number 3 for me was definitely Kevin Conroy. He was also the voice of Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. I loved him in The Mask of the Phantasm, which was the first full-length animated movie of Batman. And then, of course, the Arkham game. So Kevin Conroy at 3. Number 2, I do have Pattinson at number 2. For now, much like Dan said, I think it's still too early to say definitively whether he'll beat Christian Bale because we haven't gotten 2 sequels that Christian Bale got.
Love it.
I think he was great. I agree with a lot. Like, to be fair, I got to give Alan the right thing. Like, emo Bruce Wayne, I kept trying, dude. And I was like, when he was like at the funeral and he's like standing there and he's like brooding, I was like, he looks like the cousin from Wedding Crashers who's like sitting at the table. Like, that's literally what he reminded me of. Like, he's just not that like going out on the town and hanging out with babes all over. So he's number 2. Number 1, I still think Christian Bale did such a great job as Batman. Yes, the voice is a silly thing. Like, I totally agree with Jbiz on that. But dude, I thought the movies were rad. Like, I really liked Batman Begins. I liked how they brought Bane in this story. I think they did a really great job, and Christian Bale brought it together. I think he played both Bruce Wayne and Batman very well. I like that they made it real with like Morgan Freeman and the way they did some of his like weapons and the tumbler, obviously, and that kind of stuff. So I think we're hating on Christian Bale now because we have Robert Pattinson, but until this movie came even to fruition, we liked those trilogy a lot. We all did. So I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, and I don't think we hate him. I think he's a better, like chances at better Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne Rises. He is a great Bruce Wayne. I just when he's Batman, it's just, I don't know. That's where I have the problem. I definitely think some of these other actors do a way better job as Batman.
But
so Bubble
in the
Boy,
realm of
let's hear your
reality,
list.
do you not agree that if like the people that talk to Batman who would know Bruce Wayne, you don't think they would recognize their voice? Like if Chance was Batman in real life and I saw him in the costume and he talked to me, I'd be like, oh my God, Chance. I wouldn't be like,
What do you mean?
He's
What do you
clearly
mean
someone
if?
else. I mean, I do appreciate that they had to modify that for reality. Anyway,
not
I'm going to stop talking. I'm just saying, Chance, go ahead.
It's not just his voice. I think.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, you lost me at George Clooney.
Oh yeah, wait. Why am I even acknowledging Jose? You're right. I mean the George Clooney. Oh my gosh, keep going.
Someone please write in and tell him I'm not crazy.
I
didn't put
forget.
him as number 1.
But I have a wild card on here, I guess. Number 5 was Robert Pattinson, and because I do believe you have to have both. You have to be Batman and you have to be Bruce Wayne, and he did not do Bruce Wayne. Speaking of which, Daniel, I didn't say that it was Iron Man that I said that about. The first movie should have been called Tony Stark, not Iron Man.
Well, it can apply to The Dark Knight Rises too.
Yeah, and I think
Bruce Wayne
somebody
Rises.
took my Iron Man rant and turned it into that because that I can't take credit
Maybe
for.
I did.
I like it, but I can't. I wish I could take credit for it. Here's my wild card number 4, because I just thought it was honestly expertly done and just blew my expectations out of the water. Will Arnett as Batman in the Lego Batman movie. I think he did such a good job of bringing some comedy into it. He blows George Clooney out of the water, blows the doors off of that guy.
Okay. I would just take it.
And number 3, Christian Bale. I do think that I had to really go back and not analyze, but think about the actual acting, just because the Dark Knight trilogy is by far the best trilogy, and the Dark Knight's probably one of the best movies ever made, doesn't make Christian Bale the reason. So I have him at number 3. Number 2, Michael Keaton, not George Clooney. I love that Michael Keaton one. That was probably my first. If I think back, I have to imagine that was like my first introduction to Batman, with
Yeah.
Jack Nicholas,
Spooky, too.
Nicholson. Joker, and that was what I picture as Batman. And then of course, pretty obvious number 1, Kevin Conroy, because you can't. That voice is. I think it was Alan was like, it's not like it's hard to act as Batman. Maybe Bruce Wayne.
What the heck was that? Yeah.
But he's kind of right, and so that voice is so important, and you just can't not hear that voice from the Arkham games and from the animated series, which I haven't watched a ton of, but I definitely I watched the Killing Joke, which Kevin Conroy's the Batman in there, and then I did watch a handful of the animated series too, and you just can't beat his voice, so. That is the definitive list. It's missing Clooney, but
Yeah. Well,
You guys could give
Thank
me.
you,
In
Jbiz.
its day, Clooney was a BA in his day.
moving on, Jbiz. Thank you so much for writing in. Bacon, Freddie, Felix. I expect to hear all of your top 5 Batman. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty funny. We did some similarities, but man, Jose with George Clooney. Man, you can't ever give me crap about my list ever again, Chance, after that. Let's move on, guys. Speaking of Batman actors, what have we been watching? We wanted to jump into the Batman. I've been wanting to talk to you guys so much about this. Chance, you apparently just skipped all of our conversation on that because there was like 100 texts with Alan just absolutely trashing it for no reason.
793. Each
Anyway.
like 5 minutes would pass while I was either at work or like picking my nose. I don't even know, and I'd look down and it'd be like 73 texts. So I tried to go back and look at some of them. I kick it off since I'm talking. I thought one of the most amazing things that I didn't see coming into it, and actually when I saw the trailers, I thought I wasn't gonna like, but the Riddler was incredible.
Fantastic.
He made that movie for me. 100%, and I thought that no one would ever be able to top what Heath Ledger did with the Joker. And I need to watch it again a few times before I say that he bettered Heath Ledger's Joker, but his character, that Riddler, was real. It was like you could take that and put it in the real world tomorrow and it would be believable on the front page of the news. And so it wasn't this like supervillain with crazy powers, and I really appreciated it. It didn't even necessarily come off as like a superhero and supervillain movie.
Shout out to Paul Dano, fantastic actor.
Yeah,
Killed
and then
it.
the fact that I just can't. Spoiler, obviously, right? Spoiler.
Wait! Spoiler warning! Spoiler. We're talking. Go, everybody! Go watch the Batman. I'll have timestamps in there. Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning!
The fact that he genuinely thought him and Batman were partners, I thought that was just expertly done. And they could have left out, but I was just like, oh my God, he's totally right. And the way his reaction to finding out that Batman didn't consider him his partner, I just thought that was as good at acting, like I said, as I've seen, and as good at writing in any Batman movie. So who's next?
Chance, I want to ask you, isn't this the best depiction of Batman as a detective in any of the games? Like, that's what immediately stood out to me is all of his, he's at these crime scenes, he's investigating. I love how he would tell the cop, like, I remember he stared at like a blood puddle on the ground, and then the chick saw him looking at it, and then so she takes a picture of it. Like he's picking up on these things, the contacts where he's recording all of the information. He's actually investigating. This felt like, to me, Chance, the Arkham games, where I'm actually investigating and doing stuff.
Exactly.
And I don't remember any other movie being like that at all. Everyone says he's the world's greatest detective. I felt like that from these movies.
Well,
I
and
loved his investigative skills in this movie.
Yeah, because this is you have to know the answer because you know what DC stands for, right? Like,
Yeah, Detective Comics.
okay, so and that is because I don't remember any of the other ones having a big standout, and I love how you put that because I was going to say the video games obviously have a detective element, but this really was one of the first ones where he's leading it, and you can see like I like how some of the cops were like, "Screw you, Batman," and like, "You're not allowed here," and then the others were like, "Yeah, but dude, obviously like we're gonna back off." So it's a great point.
And I love the dynamic with him and Gordon. they were actually working as a team and like splitting stuff up, getting into, investigating things together, getting into following the certain bad guys and going after them. Like I loved that dynamic. I think we haven't even talked about Catwoman. I love how he kind of that. I think they did a great job. I think what was Kravitz, right, as Selena Kyle. You
Zoe.
didn't like her? I thought. Oh,
No, I
sorry.
was making that face because I couldn't remember her name. No, her.
Yeah.
He's
Zoe
saying Zoe
Kravitz.
Kravitz, but her name
Yeah.
is gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great. The Penguin, I had no idea that was Colin Farrell until I watched something and all the makeup. Fantastic job setting him up as well. Like I felt like they pulled so many great pieces, and like you said, Chance, it felt real. It felt grounded. I remember Alan said something ridiculous about it being like a superhero movie, but I was like, no, this is a detective film about a serial killer, and it's not. It wasn't like a superhero movie to me. Like it was a dramatic film that was awesome. I loved this movie so much. I do want to go. I feel bad for not seeing it in theater, and I still am planning on going and seeing it in theaters because I do want to see it again immediately, and I want to see it on the big screen. I absolutely loved it. I thought Pattinson did a fantastic job as Batman. I thought some of the fight scenes were really well done. The gadgets were cool. Those felt realistic. Like when he was on top of that building and he had that like poofy like squirrel flying
squirrel
jacket
suit.
and everything like that. Yeah, like
Part of what I
to-
read was that they really
grounded.
tried hard to make it that those would all be things that a police officer would have access to, and so like the darts and the epinephrine that he shot himself with.
Oh, yeah, I
which
forgot
was
about
not venom, by the way.
No, yeah, no.
But like all that stuff that just it was making a point that he's a detective. So
Oh,
Jose, you're laughing. What's
absolutely
the
loved it. Okay, so Chance, I know I kind of disagree with you when you're saying like the Dark Knight. I go whenever I go back and watch the Dark Knight, there are a lot of flaws in that movie. Like its pacing, some of its story, the ending, the whole boat thing. It was how he catches Joker at the end just felt like anticlimactic. So I think Heath Ledger's performance was incredible. But whenever I watched it, I'm like, this isn't quite as good as I remember. But Jose, what did you like this as much as us? Are you lower on it? Are you higher on it? I love this movie. I can't wait for the sequel. And we didn't even talk about the Joker deleted scene and I mean he's in the movie, but briefly, like I wish we could have saw more of that, but who knows if that's gonna happen. So Jose, give us your thoughts.
So I did love the movie. I didn't see it in theaters. Mostly that's just a function of not being getting out to go to the theaters and stuff. Not because I was against it or anything. I think I'm a little bit on the fence in terms of the overall story, and here's why. Like, I love Pattinson, I love the villains, I like the guy. Like, I don't have a lot of like concrete complaints. What I'm not sure of though is whether did I really like this because it was like I really agree with it being so different than other movies and cartoons and games and stuff like that, or was it just cool because it was different, right? Because they didn't typically do like Batman has all these amazing gadgets because he's rich and he owns a company. Like, I don't know for myself yet. And remember, guys, like for all of our listeners and for my two co-hosts, yes, I chose George Clooney. Yes, I liked the Resident Evil movie. I understand that my tastes around movies and entertainment are not what people would call quote unquote good. But here a couple of things that I do have kind of questions about and thoughts about. So I do really like that they said it was basically like year 2 of Batman. So they didn't really do a whole lot of the origin story, which I actually didn't mind. I know the origin story. I've seen it 100 times.
Me
Like
too.
I don't know if that would have
That-
totally
yeah,
helped the
if-
story.
Alan's biggest thing.
Because I
how
gotta
can
say,
you feel
come on,
connected
Alan.
to this
If you're
Batman?
going, unless Scarlett was watching it, did Scarlett watch it for the first time and be like, "Well, I'm so confused, Daddy. What's going on here?"
Who is this
Come
guy?
on, Pack. You're smarter than that.
So I didn't mind that they didn't do the origin thing. I kind of would have liked a little more background with like the Alfred thing because I thought he was an awesome Alfred. Is he as good as Michael Caine? I don't know. I love Michael Caine, right? But I think he was an awesome addition as it. I like the story with Alfred where Alfred like got hurt. I like that Bruce Wayne didn't have a mansion and that it was like a tower in the city. I thought that was a cool twist. But at the same time, I like his mansion, right? That's what I'm talking about. Like, was it cool because it was different or was it cool because it was actually good? I don't know yet. I didn't mind the gadgets and stuff like that. I do think that like over time in the movies, I don't want to have him have a squirrel suit the whole time. Like it was cool for that one scene and I enjoyed it, but like it is iconic to see Batman in like his big cape coming down. So I don't know how they're going to address that. I'm curious. I actually did like the Batmobile. I know people are very against it. I thought it was a cool looking Batmobile. And again, I like that he was like building it from the ground up and that kind of stuff. Overall, I loved it. I do agree with Chance. I think the Riddler was freaking sweet. I've always been a big puzzle guy, like Chance is, right? And so I like that it was like legitimately like Zodiac. That's clearly like an inspiration that they got from it. We'll see what happens. Here's my one tiny real concern, and I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail from this. I don't know if I love the Joker. It's early, right? We still have a lot that we haven't seen yet from it, but just from the deleted scene, if you guys haven't watched that yet, go watch the deleted scene. I don't know if I liked it, man. I don't know. We'll see what comes with that over time. Time will tell, but I'm probably wrong. Because I love.
I'm okay with that take. It's so hard for me to have gone from watching some of all the original, like in the animated series and the games, if it's not Mark Hamill talking as the Joker, and then to see the way that Heath Ledger did it, I'm like, let's move on. Let's find something different. I get that he's the most iconic.
Chance,
but
did you see Joker, or did you not like that because it was just too
the
depressing?
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah. Did you finish it?
Of course.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought that was like so dark.
Yeah, and I
with
feel
me.
like that he would have made a perfect. He could have played in this setting perfectly. Like this universe, that Joker fits perfect into. And so I was almost hoping that the deleted scene, or I guess I knew it wasn't going to be him because you got the little taste for a minute in Arkham Penitentiary. But yeah, I really did want it to be Joaquin Phoenix. And so, Jose, I don't think that's a bad take. I was just like, man, they could have done that. And I don't know if it's like legal reasons that they couldn't, but that could have been because like I said, we all thought it was so much more realistic and down to earth and grounded. And so what better way than to take it right from what Joaquin Phoenix did?
Well, I only think that this you know what this Joker reminded me of was I forget which Arkham game was it where the Joker takes Venom and he becomes like the jacked monster Joker. You know what I'm talking about?
Really?
This guy reminded me of that. And I thought that was cool for the game. I don't know how that would play in a movie. We'll see. Overall, guys, though, I did love it.
I read on his interpretation. Do you know the actor who plays Joker?
No.
Did you guys ever look it up? So it's the guy who's in Eternals. It's that I think he's like Irish. He's the one who's like angry and he can control like everybody's minds, I think. Do you remember they got black hair, white guy, black hair?
The one that was like in the forest. He went off like to live with
like
humans
left
in the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
He ran off. Yeah. He's the Joker. And I was reading the interpretation in that article was actually that he has some sort of disorder that caused him to always be smiling. And that's why when you see him, like his face is, it wasn't anything to do with like the injection. It was just this horrific disorder where he genuinely just couldn't stop smiling. And he's just talking like this all the time. So I think I'm excited.
Excellent interpretation right there.
Dude, that was pretty good. So I loved it. This movie blew me away. Like I had a feeling it was going to be good, and I'd heard good things, but I couldn't stop watching it. Like I'll watch for an hour, and then Snelling got on to play some Halo, and then I went right back to it. I was like, I got to watch it. And I watched the whole other 2 hours like it was nothing. And by the way, I want to say that 3 hour pacing I thought was fantastic. I don't know how anyone complained about it. I never once felt like I was bored. I never felt like it was too slow. I didn't feel like it was too fast. I thought the pacing in this was absolutely amazing, and that's why I wish I would have seen it in theaters because I thought it would have been a good experience. Jose, any closing words before we move on?
No, I was going to just agree with you 100%. A lot of people I had heard that had complaints said that they didn't like the pacing. They thought it was too long, it was drawn out. I didn't feel like that. Like I was genuinely trying to see like, is this too slow? And no, man, it was rad, man.
And too was awesome.
I also didn't get to talk. I did also love Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle. Like she did a great job as Catwoman. I thought that was really cool.
Dude, she looked good with those wigs on. I was like, woo, woo.
You know, the one kind of funny thing I do have to give Alan a little bit of credit, even though I know he doesn't listen, is his boots were kind of loud. Like in hindsight, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. If you're trying to purpose. Maybe, but just I thought that was a little funny.
He's like the sheriff. That's what it was.
Shout out to
the sheriff with the spurs coming in.
Yeah. So
boots.
I would say I really liked it. First, I was like, that's kind of strange, but again, very realistic. I love Selena Kyle's mask, and that it was just basically like a ski mask that she had adapted a little bit. I thought that was super cool.
There's like just random little points.
Yep. And then one of my favorite parts of The Dark Knight was the soundtrack and the music and the score from that. And I think this one did an incredible job with that Nirvana song, and how they kind of like strung it out throughout, not the whole thing, but a lot of it. Was just a perfectly well done edition. So I loved it.
Pumped
I'm
for
really
2.
excited. Yeah, because man, if that's how they start, holy cow.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Batman Begins was a good movie, but I feel like this is a better beginning
And
for a
I feel
Batman
like
movie.
I remember Raja Ghul and
Thought
that
he was so cool, but
in
now
it, but then I was like, I don't
he's in it for
remember
like
hardly
nothing.
anything from that
Yeah,
movie
because
past that.
you don't
But
really see
the
him that
ninja
much.
scene was cool. I agree with this. This is awesome though.
The
I do
training
have
scene
to
was
say,
cool, but then Ra's al Ghul, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I have to say that was cool when
Hindsight.
the reality of like creating this online community of people that are like mentally ill that decide like they're just gonna hurt people. Like it was a great movie. I'll be honest, like I got a little like this is hitting a little closer to home than I think I would like, which I'm sure that's why
I'm
they did it.
telling you,
But
yeah.
very realistic
That's
for
why,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of superheroes, let's just have. I think I put this in there. It's been 3 years since the release of Avengers Endgame, and we will never forget their sacrifice. This was a tweet from IGN on the 26th of April, 2022, guys. So let's have a moment of silence for the fallen Avengers.
Hold on, they
Moving
came
on.
back.
Not all of them, Chance. Spoilers. By the way, Avengers Endgame is that my favorite Marvel Avengers movie? I think it is, guys. Jose, what's your favorite?
I mean, I'm a
Of
big
the-
fan of
the-
Iron
all
Man
those.
1. I know Chance calls it Tony
Yeah,
Stark
that's
1 or
good.
whoever his friend did. I did love that movie a lot.
It's a
But
great
no,
movie.
it's
It
great.
is
I
a
mean,
good
remember I
movie.
told you at school I played it this year and all the kids started clapping when the intro music came on because it's a great film, dude. Like, and that scene at the fight when everyone starts coming in, like just the coordination of Kevin Feige, man, he's a beast. So it's up there. If it's not number 1, it's very, very
It
close.
did start it all.
I went
what
back and
about you?
rewatched them all while riding my bike, and I was so much more impressed with Iron Man and its staying power and how well
Yeah.
it holds up. And I think
I agree.
Endgame will hold up as well too. But
Some of
yeah,
the
it's
scenes
I mean, the
hard
only
not
thing
to
that
say
beats it is like
anything.
Iron Man 3. That's easily beats number 1. That's a joke, Dan. That's
my
a joke.
gosh.
Look at your
Moving
face.
on.
Okay,
Gosh,
I was
Kaka takes from
after the
Jose.
George Clooney take. I wasn't sure
Good
if he was
gosh.
joking.
Yeah,
He was
okay. Moment
joking.
of rip Avengers Endgame. Great movie, by the way. Guys, let's talk about Halo Episode 5 TV show. Chance has been wanting to talk about this forever. Did you watch 5 and 6? Because we can talk about 6,
No,
I guess. since
because
we're-
6. It was not written on here 5 and 6 until
did
it was
write that.
too late for me. No, it was.
you haven't seen
That's
it?
fine.
I'm
Just 5.
shocked
Just
you
go
haven't
5.
watched it.
Just go 5.
Because I didn't
Okay.
want to. I wanted to have it fresh in my mind.
That's fine. That's
So-
fine. We can talk about 5. So let's talk about 5. Loved it. Loved the battle. Incredible Chance. Oh, spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Go watch Halo or skip. Look at the time codes. We're going to talk about Halo Episode 5. Love the battle. Love the Needler. Awesome action. Definitely the last half of Episode 5. I was like, man, this could be really sweet. The grunts. We got the jackals. The banshees everywhere. The chief crashing. Kate, is it Kate? Right, 125.
Kai.
Is that her name? Kai 125. Sorry, losing it with the chip not being in her back. Bubble Boy, tell me your thoughts on Episode 5.
That Needler, that's what I wanted to talk about, was how amazing was that? And it was like 2 screenshots long, but the way it exploded and how quick it was
And
just,
vaporized
I was just
that
like,
guy.
that's better than the games do it. It really is, like, which says so much that I just, that's all I can think about from that one.
And very cool seeing the sniper taking the shots and everything. Just the way the Spartans in general were keeping the cool.
The
running
sound
up,
on that sniper
yeah.
was perfect.
jumping onto the warthog, getting all the. I liked seeing
Jumping
all
on the
that teamwork
Banshee, too.
stuff.
That was cool, too.
Yeah, well, the chief, yeah. So Jose, give me your thoughts on Episode 5. Anything else? So, to be honest, I don't remember the first half. Do any of you guys remember? I don't know if that's. I mean, there's probably some Quan.
I mean, it's
stuff
more
in
of the
there. Is this
exploration
where Quan
piece.
knocks out?
And it's
They're
the pulling
getting to the
she pulling
artifact.
her thing out of her back and dying her. I mean, like, I loved it. I thought it was great. I really don't have any complaints. You know, it makes me do wish there was a little bit more action in the show up to this point, just because when it happens, like that moment where the chief was like down below and then is like orienting and all of a sudden they're like incoming. Like I felt myself like noticeably get excited, like, oh, here it comes. I do wish the grunts would have had just a tiny bit different intro where it was something a little more funny. I mean, there's an
Maybe you
elements
want
of
more
it's
dialogue,
peppered
yeah.
in. But they were great. I thought the Jackals looked great. I do still think the Elites looked cool, man, and that they obviously brought in the big guys too, right? With the one that actually grabbed the
Oh yeah,
the
didn't they show a
artifact.
brute? They showed a brute too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he didn't
Cool,
fight him,
yeah.
right? He smacked his shield and sent him flying.
He hit
and
him
stuff.
once. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was great, man.
Like that'll be a showdown.
I also I want to say something about 6, but I'm not going to because Chance hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It's I really like where it's going. I'm bummed that it's only 8 episodes. Like I can't keep that out of the back of my mind, and so I just yeah, I think it's only 8 for the first season.
It's not 10? Oh no.
So we're gonna wrap up pretty quickly. We're gonna end with the cliffhanger clearly. I'm still curious what the goal is with McKee. Is that what her name is? The
Miranda Keys.
No, McKee, the girl from the Covenant. Like obviously she's trying to infiltrate UNSC, but I can't figure out what her goal is. So I'm still curious.
Jose?
I did,
Well,
but don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going
That
to.
weapon is to merge the weapons.
Well, yeah, we'll talk after 6 because some things change a little bit.
Yeah,
So
we got to talk about 6.
anyway, I loved it, man. I thought it was great. Shout out to Paramount Plus and to Dan's boy Dodo, who
yes,
you got to talk about that too.
Shout out to Dodo. Dodo, I hope you're watching. So I mentioned this before. Dodo was an extra on the first initial battle where Quan and Oliver Colony gets annihilated, and he said he wasn't there, but he did mention that he might still be in it. So I'm assuming we might go back to. We're going to go back to Quan because we've got to see what happens with her story, and maybe he'll make an appearance.
Do we though? Do we?
I know, of course, the worst part of the show. We need. I just wanted to shout out Dodo, love you, brother. Thanks for stopping by the stream. He sent me a bunch of pictures before the show came out, and he said it was okay to send them to you guys, and I hope you guys looked at them. So cool to see some of those pictures.
That pistol, that must have felt
the
so
pistol,
cool.
Isn't
the
that
prop
cool?
of the elite
I didn't realize
heads.
he had.
I love that.
Yeah, the elite head. Picture of what's his name? God dang it, not Pedro Pascal. Pablo Schreier. I didn't know that was him, and he's smiling back at him when he took that picture of him in the suit and everything. I love that one of the Spartans just standing there leaning up against like a knocked over truck or whatever. He got so many cool things. The explosions. I don't know if you watch one of the explosions. There's a big piece that hits this guy right in the head. If you watch it, it's hilarious. And just shout out to Dodo. It's so cool to see all the hard work and production going into it, and then seeing it on the screen. It's really quite impressive that the amount of skill and money and expertise that takes. So shout out to Dodo. I'm loving Halo, enjoying it more than Moon Knight. Do we want to talk about Moon Knight very quickly? I did watch 4, and he's in spoiler warning. We're going to talk about Moon Knight very quickly. He is in an insane asylum now.
Yeah, I was
no
okay
idea
with
what's
that
going
ending.
on.
I haven't
That's
watched
where
the
Jose
next
said.
one.
Have you watched 5 yet?
That's where I am.
No.
So
No,
five
that's where
five explains it in a way that I was actually very satisfied with, because when we got there at the end of 4, I was like, now I don't like this anymore. But they brought it back in a way that I'm okay with, and they left on a pretty good cliffhanger. So I'm excited for next Wednesday to see how it turns out. I got to give Oscar Isaac credit real quick. Dude, he's a great actor. Like the fact that he can play 2 different personalities in the same scene as a show, not for like a partial piece, and it makes sense and it's well done. Like he's good, dude. It's okay. Is it as good as the other Marvel ones? We'll see how it finishes. But no, it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Chance, overall thoughts on Moon Knight really quick? Is it
I'm
would you like
liking
more
it.
Moon Knight or Halo?
Oh, Halo for sure.
Okay,
And like I said, because I've been reading the Moon Knight comics, and I don't.
Is it accurate?
Yeah, I mean they have the general story down. There's a few different kind of story arcs that Moon Knight does in terms of like some of his alter egos are, but the whole Khonshu thing and all that, yeah, it's really well done. I wanted to add another show that I picked up that I was absolutely blown away by and had never even heard of before, on Apple TV Plus. Is called Severance. Have either of you heard of Severance?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
I've
good
heard
things
of it.
about
I haven't
Severance.
seen it.
Boy, you need to watch that. And I would almost
I
though.
won't.
And why?
You already know why.
Because you don't
He's
have
against
Apple TV
Apple.
Plus.
He's just
Correct.
against Apple.
I'm
Even though he
not
has
gonna
an
subscribe
iPhone.
to another stupid service.
Well, Jose, but here's what I would say. I would almost encourage you to wait until the second
So I can
season
binge it.
gets announced. Yeah, because you want to talk about cliffhangers. I can't remember the last time. I mean, probably Game of Thrones had some season-ending cliffhangers that were better, but like It's really good. And do you know what
Yeah,
the
I've heard
premise
good
is,
things.
Daniel?
I don't. Tell me what the
It's
premise
the
is.
yes.
Yeah, I
So it's
think I do.
about
It's
these
about like
you go to work and
inheritance, right?
no, and
Or is that a
they can
different
shut
one?
off your brain so that it's basically like you're two different people. When you go to work, you have no memory of your personal life, and then when you leave that workplace, you have no memory of your work life. And they like ride this elevator down, and so it talks about it's essentially like calling like indentured servitude or slavery, right? That because the people they call them the innies that are at work, all they ever do, they wake up and they're at work, and then they leave and they wake up and they're at work, and it is really cool. It's a slow burn. There's only 9 episodes, but man, does it take
Yeah.
off. And Ben Stiller directed it, which is
Yeah,
really
I knew
cool.
that. Yeah.
You have it, don't you? You're just not.
No, no, I don't.
Okay,
I don't
well,
have
with the
Apple
way Apple
Plus.
works, all you have to do is like buy
I'm not.
an Apple at
Let's
the
move on.
store.
Moving on from Apple Plus and Severance, guys. Let's jump. Oh, by the way, guys, this is Xbox Record. We are a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. We just spent 38,
Just a
40
little
minutes
late.
talking about a bunch of movie stuff. But we're going to jump into some Xbox news right now. But it's okay, guys. We love to talk about all things life. So that's where our listeners are here. We're about this, that a community of everything that we enjoy. So let's start into Xbox news. First and most importantly, save the date. Catch the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase on June 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. BST. Jose, what does BST time stand for? Is that like Europe or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, guys, what are we? Should we have some sort of Xbox and Bethesda? Like a little kind of like prediction episode beforehand? Are we going to live stream reactions for this episode? Chipotle Bear, tell me your thoughts on this announcement. It's soon, guys. This is going to be here before we know it. We're almost
I know, dude.
basically
We're literally
a month
like
and,
almost a month out
couple
at this
weeks
point.
out. This is crazy, you guys. No more E3, but who cares? Everyone's going to do their own thing. And of course, obviously, they're teasing Starfield. That came from the Xbox Twitter, and it's an image of the Xbox kind of like logo. Like, anyway, Chipotle Bear, what are you thinking about the showcase? What should we do to celebrate it?
I would love to watch it together with you guys. I mean, we could try to live stream it on this setup, but we run a risk with like internet and stuff like that. It might be easier to do like a reaction thing afterwards for YouTube as like a separate thing. But no, man, I'm pumped. I mean, the good news for me too, that's also 2 days after I get done with work. So like literally I'm in summer mode at that point. And in terms of like gaming stuff, like definitely pumped for Starfield. Like I feel really excited about Starfield. I'm sure it's going to be great. Like it's not like I'm worried about it. I'm just excited to see something. And now that we're just a couple months out, I'm ready to see some like gameplay and some other stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Redfall. I know that Dan was a little down on that when it came out originally last year, but I think Redfall could be cool, man. I've always liked that horror genre, obviously. I would love to see some more stuff with Dead Space or the Callisto Project come through, because that's supposed to be another Xbox One coming out later this year. I don't know, man. I'm just excited that I'm sure Phil Spencer and the gang are going to do some really great stuff. I hope Sarah Bond gets a good amount of stage time, like as well. She just won a couple of big awards actually. It's just a great time. And I also hope that Sony's state of play stuff goes well too. Like I keep telling myself, and it's what I believe in. I want everyone to have fun. Like I want everyone to have great games. Like I don't love arguing about like, oh, we're better than you and you're better than us. I just want to have it like, let's go play games, dude. Like that's really what this is about. So summer is always that great time for us, and especially also as we're coming out of the pandemic a little bit. Where it's not over, but as we come out of it, I'm ready to just stay inside, not see anyone in real life, and just be online. That's what I'm hoping for.
Stay alive. Bubble Boy, any thoughts on this, or do you want to jump into the Starfield?
Well, yeah, the Starfield is what I'm most excited about, and I can't wait to read the message boards and all the hate that people are going to give it. They only showed 18 hours? Like, oh, man, that's so terrible. Like, no. The people are going to hate whatever they do, and I'm going to love whatever they do, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I just want to reemphasize, guys, this is Bethesda Game Studios, okay? These are the guys who give us Fallout and Elder Scrolls. This is their new IP. This game's going to be big. It's going to be massive. It's going to be bigger than we think, Jose. It's going to be bigger than I think.
That's what she said.
Thank you. But seriously, this I'm going to be so ready for it because I feel like by then we're going to need a big juicy game to take over our lives.
That's what she said.
Like an Elden Ring. Thank you. So, speaking of Starfield, guys, I wanted to mention the Into Starfield Episode 3, The Sound of Adventure. Bethesda Game Studios audio director Mark Lampert and Starfield composer, I can't remember how he said his name. It was Enon Zur, I believe it was what it was. Sit down and talk about music and sound design in our third episode of Into Starfield. Listen as I discuss Lampert and Zur's artistic process, how the score affects a player's experience, and the search for answers is at the heart of Starfield's music. And this was released on the 26th on Bethesda's official YouTube. Guys, did you watch this? And I just wanted to ask you, the main reason I wanted to bring it up is we often don't really talk about music and its importance in video games.
Oh, I disagree. We do.
But I mean, like, but I specifically, like, guys, like, so many Elder Scrolls music, I can just sing. I guess we did bring it up that one time. And then Fallout 2, distinct sounds. So this is the guy, I believe, who did Fallout, not really Elder Scrolls. And Fallout has an awesome score as well. So, Bubble Boy, I know you're a big fan of music. What did you think of this? Did you watch it?
Yeah, and I love that
And
that's something that they're going to highlight because it is such a big piece. And I think it means a ton to me. I think other people, they will notice if they're not really into the music, they'll notice when it's bad, but not necessarily when it's good, almost like referees in a basketball game or a football game or something. And I just have the highest of expectations for the music of this. And I love getting little breadcrumbs for it leading up to it. So yeah, I was pumped.
And Dan's on mute. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Chance. I was going to ask you, what did you think of the initial music tone that they give, that they're setting up for the game? I really like it.
Yeah, it's
it was
hard.
like going away and coming back, but I liked it so far from what I've heard.
And I always, other than like a few times, it's hard for me to like a song or a particular piece of music until I've heard it a couple of times. And with a video game, probably put it into some context as well, which might sound a little weird. So I did not like it though, for sure. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is better than Skyrim, but it wasn't going to be that from what they were giving anyway.
Jose, I know music is important to you personally because you're a DJ, a professional DJ at that. But are you big on music as we are in video games, or are you one of those guys who listen to a podcast occasionally like me when I'm grinding away stupid Ghost of Tsushima side missions where I'm following for 30 minutes?
I mean, I do love music. It's been a big part of my life. For the record, I have not DJ'd in like 2 years. I just feel like that's a disclaimer there. But no, man, a couple of things when I watched this, I did have to laugh at the one part. I don't know. I forget what they're talking about. They kept saying, it's circular. It's circular. And I kept thinking of that scene in Happy Gilmore where he's like, riding the bull, feeling the flow, circular. Like, I just thought that was hilarious. But in all seriousness about it, I think what's impressive about games like Starfield and lots of games, any big games, everything from like Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn to really all of the Bethesda games, so I'm sure Cyberpunk, being able to write music for stuff like this is incredibly challenging because you just imagine sitting down and like they talk a lot in the video, they say like it's about what feeling do we want people to feel? What emotions are we trying to conjure? Because it's not going to be in their face. It's not that like we don't get to write to them. All we get to do is make a melody to try to evoke emotion. And I think that takes an incredibly strong skill set. Like the people that can do that, because yeah, I'm a DJ, but I'm a glorified button pusher. That's literally what my job is. These are people that are literally sitting down with raw instruments, with raw.
Push my buttons.
Thanks, buddy. That's
what she said.
A very different skill set. And so I got to give it to him, man. The other thing I just think is worth mentioning real quick, I know we have a lot of news to talk about. I think it's really cool that Bethesda is doing this to highlight all of the people that contribute to a game. And I know lots of companies do this, and they're a very big company.
Great point.
Not every company has the ability to do this. But I think it's like you think about the people that have spent I don't know, 1,000 hours making a soundtrack for a video game. Who do we know their names? Probably not. Right. And yeah, they got paid, and yeah, they're not doing it for the fame, but I do think it's just a cool thing that they're doing to highlight the people that go into this, because again, yeah, they get a credit at the end, but I think it's nice that they get a little time in the spotlight to talk about this experience and the journey that they're going through as they make this. So, shout out. I'm definitely, like Chance, looking forward to more of these little Into the Starfield episodes. But overall, it was cool, man. I definitely am excited. I like the soundtrack for sure.
So there's still some people who think this game is not coming out. It's going to be delayed. Are any of you one of them? I believe 11/11 we're getting Starfield.
I think they're gonna hit that deadline.
I think they're gonna knock it. It's already
hell or
done.
high
They're
water.
just polishing it, and they're just
That's exactly what I think. They were done maybe not a year ago, but they wanted that date so bad. But they're it's of course. And then you know what? If hell freezes over and they don't, am I gonna lose my mind?
Nah.
No.
Plenty to play. Okay, so this next story is coming from Tom Ivan over on VGC News. Okay, so here's my thing, Jose. I kind of almost didn't want to talk about this, but I know you brought it up because I don't want to feed into the console wars, okay? And to be fair, Microsoft doesn't really ever talk about their numbers. They didn't during the Xbox One era because they're getting annihilated. And to be honest, I don't care how good Microsoft does. Let's say they did outsell PlayStation this generation. People will still talk negatively about it and they'll still say they have no games and there's still going to be this awful, stigma on Xbox. And honestly, guys, I don't think Xbox will ever outsell PlayStation units.
They will if they keep producing them the way they do. You can get Series X right now.
I still don't think even the Xbox 360, which technically outsold the PS3 for almost all of that generation, didn't outsell the PS3, and eventually the PS3 did surpass it. I mean, just barely, but like they're basically even, but it did pass it. I don't think Xbox One really cares about these sales, but two, they're about that subscription. There's part of they want you in the ecosystem, but at the same time, they are saying this now because they are killing it. So here's the story. Microsoft says Xbox has taken market share globally for 2 quarters in a row. We are the market leader this quarter among next-gen consoles. Microsoft has claimed strong Xbox Series X sales have seen the company capture market share for 2 consecutive quarters. And on Tuesday, the company's gaming business posted record revenue for a non-holiday quarter. Gaming revenue was up 6% year over year, $3.74 billion. With our Xbox Series X and S consoles, we have taken share globally for 2 quarters in a row, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said during the company's third quarter earnings call. And we are the market leader this quarter among next-gen consoles in the United States, Canada, the UK, and Western Europe. And most importantly, Xbox had its best March on record in terms of consoles sold and dollar sales, according to the MPD. So the best March ever, even during the 360 glory days. Again, I don't want to feed into the console wars and who's selling more, but Jose, why did you feel like this was so important? I know you even added me on Twitter about this. Talk to me about the economics of this. And why is this a bigger deal and I should be giving it more credit?
No, and I'm glad that you actually put that context like that, man, because that's not what I intended either. I know when people would see this, they think that we're just gonna gloat about being Xbox fans, and that we're beating Sony, but that's actually not why I put this in here. I just think it's interesting to follow this because here we are in a time economically and socially and politically where like we are being told that we're on the end of this recent pandemic. It's not over. That's right. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're definitely heading away from it. And yet we're still seeing global supply catching up. Now it's getting a lot better than it was even 6 months ago. But what's interesting is just that Sony is still very much struggling to sell PlayStations, because the truth is, if I'm being very honest, if Microsoft and Sony were selling Like if they had the same availability of consoles, I don't think this would be the case. I think people would still be buying PlayStations more than Xboxes. But it's just interesting how we're seeing this shift because people are like, well, I want a gaming system. I would prefer a PS5, but I literally can't get one. And every time they come out, they just get taken by bots and resold for 40% markup online. And so I'm just going to buy an Xbox. Now, granted, that's also because I think Xbox and Microsoft and all of their partner studios have done a great job creating content and games because that's making it enticing to come over to the Xbox side. Here's why I think this is cool, though, and why I wanted to put this story in here. Microsoft has made a significant change to their strategy in the last couple of years with things like streaming, Game Pass, all that kind of stuff. If they see numbers going up, there's a good chance they're connecting some of that to the growth, right? And so it means that there's a better chance that they're going to continue doing that stuff, right? So like where the narrative might have said that Game Pass is like a risk, that it's a it'd be an experiment. That's the word I was looking for to see if they're going to do this. If they're seeing that their numbers are going up, it's more telling them, hey, you should do Game Pass. You should get more games on there, which is great for all of us. Like I think it's just a great thing for gaming. Now, again, they even said in the article they expect in the fourth quarter that their numbers are going to go down. You know, will Sony catch up? Time will tell. I don't have a way of really knowing that. I'm not a fortune teller, but I just thought it was interesting that this is happening, and I'm curious to see what it will mean for the mid-cycle refresh. Like, are we going to be out of this supply constraint by the time that happens? I don't know, man. I would have thought we were closer now, but it doesn't really look like that's changing. And so does that change Sony's strategy? Do they not have a mid-cycle refresh because they're just trying to get PS5s out? I don't know. It's just, I think, interesting to follow and see what happens. Again, like I said with the other story, I just hope it works out for everyone. If you were really a dead set Sony fan, I hope you can get a PlayStation, man, because there would be no worse feeling in my life if I wanted a Series X and I couldn't get one. So I hope that it gets better for everybody. But in the meantime, we'll follow this and see what happens. And for the record, since I'm Team Xbox, good for you guys. Keep it up. Keep up the great work, and hopefully it will speak for itself.
So I've listened to quite a few podcasts talk about this on PlayStation and Xbox, and I just wanted to throw some ideas to you, Chance. I think this was Mr. Medi Plays and Lord Cognito on Defining Duke. They were talking about think about how successful the Xbox has been, and relatively, there really hasn't been any big first party games since Halo Infinite in December, and they're still selling these games.
Horizon.
We still haven't gotten.
It was November.
Yeah, that was before Halo. Halo was the last big game in December. I'm just saying, and we haven't gotten anything. We haven't gotten Starfield. We haven't seen anything from any of the Bethesda studios. Like, imagine how they're going to sell when some of those games come out. So, and then also, I don't know if Joseph and Kyle were talking about this either on Trophy Room, but I think they might have, or maybe this was on Sacred Symbols. Do you think that, Chance, this is a combination of Xbox just getting more chips and having it more available, and having the Xbox Series S easily available? The Series X has become available for longer periods of time. And is it because people just can't get a PS5?
Probably.
And
That's
Game
like
Pass? Or do you think it's a
your
combination of all of those things?
Was it
Which
your
is
one
what I think
cousin,
it is.
Jose, or the guy that was like,
Yeah,
my
Evan.
PlayStation guy, but yeah.
Yeah, we had lunch with him the other day, actually, and I was like, how's your Xbox? He's like, dude, we love it. Game Pass is so sweet. And he even was like, I'm a huge PlayStation guy, but I've really enjoyed coming over. Like, I play games with my Amber, his wife, and it's great, man. I mean, we'll see what happens. Will he go back when there's a PlayStation 5 Slim or a PS6 in a couple of years? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's weird how that supply constraint is really kind of throwing the market on its head, for sure.
And it's Game Pass. It's the fact that it takes money to make money, and Microsoft pockets are way deeper. I don't know that the three of us are going to be able to figure it out or need to really. It does make me excited to kind of, I know we're not trying to get into console war stuff, but that it's like, hey, not that we chose right, but yeah, the stock we've put our money into is doing really, really well and paying dividends right now. And that's exciting.
Yeah. And I do think Game Pass is a bigger deal than we preach about it all the time, but I think maybe we don't even realize how great of a deal it is for some people. and how much of a system
Well,
seller
think
it
about
is.
the like when 360 first came around, and the idea, if you were like, so now imagine if all of it was free and all that was right there at your fingertips, right? Like you couldn't even, I don't even know that we would have been able to comprehend it the way we can. And then I think moving forward, it's going to be a given. Like you don't do a console without something like this.
Well, and you think about the same thing with
Well,
Play
and free to
Pass,
play games.
or sorry, PlayStation Plus and Premium and Deluxe and stuff, is that
No, it's Play
so
Pass.
let's say Sony, yeah, Play Pass. Sorry, let's say that they drop it, and let's say it's awesome. Like let's just go pie in the sky. They have a huge catalog of PS3, PS4 games. You have Returnal, you have Miles Morales, right? You have all these first party titles, but no one can get a PS5. Does that mean that in like 6 months Sony feels like they haven't made money and so they pull it, right? And then what does that do long term? Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, just like it's a very interesting time to follow all this, and it's not about who's better. It's just as a gamer, I want people to play games, and it's better when games are free. But if you can't get a console to play the games, and they're losing money by buying all this IP and getting the rights to have it on their service, that's not a winning combination. So we'll see what happens, man. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, and congrats to all the Xbox team and their vision, because I do think it's an awesome vision, and I haven't given them enough credit for Game Pass. And the Series S and the console itself is incredibly affordable, incredibly awesome. I love my Series S. Great to travel with, great secondary console, the secondary console for people who have PS5. So I think congrats to Xbox and all their hard work. And really, I mean, gosh, think about how they turned it around from the Xbox One. Let's be real, guys. It's pretty dang impressive, guys. Let's talk about the Halo Infinite. I like this one. Chance, I remember reading something about this, the Armor Core system, and then Jose, save that Disney one for later, and then we'll close out with the our favorite segment. I'm not even going to say it right now. So, guys, let's talk about Halo Infinite is officially ditching its controversial Armor Core system. This is coming from Pure Xbox, Fraser Gilbert, and I'm actually very happy about this. I remember reading something about this, maybe during potentially updates, but 343 has revealed as part of the Season 2 community livestream this week that it's planning to move away from the Armor Core system in Halo Infinite, admitting that we didn't realize it'd be as bad as it was. Speaking in the video is Halo Infinite's head of design and Xbox Live founding veteran. Didn't know that. Jerry Hook explained the reasons behind the plan change, citing weaknesses compared to the likes of Halo 3 and Halo Reach. We really lost incorrectly the strength that Halo Reach and Halo 3 brought to the franchise of allowing players to really mix and match everything. We knew we'd have some struggles there, but we didn't realize it'd be as bad as it was. So we are looking to move away completely from the core system. What that means for Season 2 is that you'll start seeing specifically what I would call in-canon cores. So if you earn a coating, it's usable across all of those cores. Or if you earn a shoulder piece, it's usable across all those cores. We're slowly trying to move everything to be more ubiquitous. So, Chance, talk
So
to me.
excited. Yeah. So
Me too.
very excited.
That was
And
probably one of my biggest complaints. I will say I do like the idea of like having your own color, and then remember you can pick which color you want your enemies to be. Like I have my enemies being yellow and my team being purple. But I like the idea of like that's what my Spartan looks like. But I hated how I bought that some of these skins and I can't use it on the samurai ones,
Yep,
or I can't
yep.
use that color on something else, or I can't use the cool. I love the Sentinel Halo Championship series, by the way, that's on right now. Go watch some of that. I love that skin, but I can't use it on something else. So Bubble Boy taught me this. I feel like this is an awesome move, and they're learning, and this is a great thing.
Yeah, it just again it shows everything that makes me proud of 3-4 Industries and Xbox in general. They're listening. They don't have to do any of this because they are making $0 on that. Well, actually, they're probably still making money off of it, but they don't have to do any of this. They could have said, "There's the game we put out. Season 2's coming." It can't be easy to make all these changes, and that's some of the stuff that keeps me coming back for more. Because yes, and I know Daniel, you might disagree a little. Like it's the gameplay, and that's what's so fun is playing on multiplayer. But I love working towards something and then customizing all the guys. And even if I'm not,
You're
gonna
part of the
use them,
problem.
I know, but I just think that's so fun, and I think the Tenrai event, I didn't love all the different pieces of it, but I loved some of those helmets, even though they're not Halo helmets at all. But like, they'd be really cool to put one of those helmets on everything else that looks like a Spartan. So I'm excited. The way he put it at the end, the usable across all those cores, is exactly what I was hoping to see. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think this is awesome. Jose, any thoughts on this? By the way, guys, I have been playing Halo recently, and it's still a lot of fun. There's a really cool visor this week. I don't know if you want to do it. I've been doing the challenges.
It's cool, yeah.
It's just a black visor, and I'm like, oh, I had to get it. And I'm already at the end. The last challenge is pretty easy. It's like get efficient kills with semi-automatic weapons or burst fire. So it's doable. And like some of them where it's like win like 10 ranked matches or something like that. So Jose, give us your thoughts about the new armor coding system.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Like this was literally something I used to say when we were playing the games in the first month, was like, I have no problem that they have like different armor sets, but it was really a bummer to me when I would get a color combination that I was like, oh God, that's going to look so sick with my armor. And then I'd go to attach it. It's like, it's not for this set. And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, it just was so frustrating. And look, guys, be clear, we're talking first world problems. Like, does that really affect gameplay? No. But customization is a big part of games. It's why skins are a thing. It's why Fortnite makes so much money, right? Like, the ability to represent yourself. And you know what it harkens me back to? I was trying to find it right now. Do you either of you remember the name? There was a series of toys in like the 80s and 90s where they were designed. You'd buy them in 2-packs, and you could swap like the heads and the arms between them, and like one was a monster and one was human. And as silly as it sounds, it was just like, if I want to go make this banana sandwich crazy looking guy to play with, I should be able to do that if I've earned the armor and I've earned the colors. If I want to make it so it's all uniform, I should be able to do that. Like, you remember back in the day, was it Battlefield 4 where you could make the emblems, and like Cordy Morgs made all the like Ninja Turtles in it and stuff like that? I wanted to be able to do that with the armor sets. And so are we going to fully get to that? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe over time. But I was really happy to hear that even though it's a small thing, that again, like Dan said and Shan said, like, they're learning from this. They are listening to the feedback of their players. And they said, we got this wrong. It was way worse than we thought it was going to be. So we're going to fix it. We're going to make it better. We're not going to just say leave it and we'll fix it in the next iteration. Maybe that's the benefit of having a live service game, is that you have a lot more of the freedom to just change that over time. But overall, I'm pumped, man. Like, I haven't been playing Halo on purpose. I'm trying to get through Weird West because on Monday, May 2nd, we're into Season 2 Lone Wolves, and I know I'm going to be back in Halo quite a bit. So I think it's great, man. I'm happy to hear that they're doing this, and I'm probably not going to get that visor this week, but we'll see what happens.
Ooh, I'm going to get it. By the way, Bubble Boy, I'm about to promote you to assistant co-host with Chipotle's bad takes on George Clooney, and now these action figures where you're mixing and matching pieces. He's not talking about like getting turtles or,
I have the turtles too. I didn't say anything bad
He's
about
talking
turtles.
about these mismatched action figures. I don't know what's going on with him anymore, Bubble Boy. Let's close out the Xbox news with our favorite segment, New Games with Gold for May 2022. This is coming from Dan Hickey, Marketing Program Manager over at Xbox. Guys, here are your games with gold, and I'd like to alternate. Jose, you can read the next one for May. First up is Yoku's Island Express from May 1st to May 31st. All Yoku wants to do is soak up the rays delivering parcels in his new job in a tropical paradise. But first, he must traverse the island, helping others, and try to waken an ancient deity trapped in a restless sleep. Explore the colorful open world of Makumana and test your pinball skills and earn wild new power-ups to help the friendly locals. Jose, tell us about the Inner World, The Last Monk.
The Inner World, The Last Monk, you embark on an adventure through Esposia to find the last Wind Monk and fulfill Robert's destiny as the heir to the Flute Nose throne. Switch seamlessly between playing as Robert, Laura, the rebel who flies off the handle, or Peck, the pigeon who doesn't fly at all. This charming adventure game is filled with brain teasers, humor, beautiful music, and lots of heart. Chance, tell us about Hydro Thunder Hurricane.
Yeah, no, think that game looks like crap. I'm going to tell you about Viva Pinata Party Animals. Get ready for lots of fun for everyone. Compete as Hudson Horstachio, which is that like a blend of horchata and pistachio? I don't know,
I'm in.
but I
I'm in
know
for
I'd
that.
probably try it, even though it would kill me because I'm allergic to one of those things. Franklin Fizzly Bear and others across over 40 mini games mixed with race events. Combine your wins and bonuses to get the most candy and be crowned the victor. Viva Pinata, always a good classic.
That Viva is available May 16th to 31st. And Jose, I forgot to tell you, the Inner World is available May 16th to June 15th, because I'm sure you guys all can't wait to download these titles. And I'll tell you about Hydro Thunder Hurricane, what Chance skipped over, May 1st to the 15th. Hydro Thunder Hurricane, speed through 11 mysterious race environments like Monster Island and the Bermuda Triangle, each one packed with massive jumps, drop-offs, secret shortcuts, and destructible objects. Unleash the Aqua Anarchy as you try out various modes and compete to be the first to cross the finish line. Guys, I got a question for you. Why are they still doing these games of gold? Why don't they just kill it?
Why are we still reading them?
Because I feel like we have to. Who else is? You know,
For
Chance,
who?
who else is?
For who?
For all our loyal listeners who are downloading this, just get everyone into Game Pass. Get ready playing online with gold, or figure out a way, or at least give one decent game a month. They got to stop this. This is out of
It's
control.
like they're like there's a guy there just like on the Brian Regan stand up with in the Fig Newton, right? He's like, yeah, they put that on there. It's going out like that. Like there's still one guy pretty high up that just thinks it's hilarious. He's like, we're still doing it, guys. I know. I'm still getting away with it.
Man. That has been your Xbox news for the week, guys. Let's talk about Xbox. Record this year one down. Guys, I just wanted to talk to you and get some feedback and actually really ask our audience, please, guys, if there's anything you would like to provide feedback for, please send it in to us. We would love to hear your thoughts on the show. Chipotle Bear, Bubble Boy, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think we're doing well? What do you want to maybe possibly change? Do you like the structure of the show? Do we have too much going on? To me, I feel like I think we have a pretty good structure. I love the best food we had this week. I love having a warm-up question to just talk about what's going on. Is it adding too much talking about shows? Do we cut back on the list? The good old days. Do we only bring that up every once in a while? Anyone have any thoughts so far? Want to start off this? Bubble Boy, you're unmuted first. So what were you going to say?
Oh, I'm always unmuted. I just have the little button here, like you do.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so
But I guess since I'm talking, I'll keep talking. I would love to do some sort of thing, like a running scoreboard of some sort. I don't know exactly what it. I know, and you laugh every time, but I'll say it again.
because you're like my wife, everything's got to be a competition.
Yes,
can't
it
we
does.
just have fun?
Like,
Like
if we-
Jose, can't we just have fun?
like if we had like we each picked a thing and we did 20 questions or something. They're always Xbox related, and then we add it up at the end of the month, and I don't know, one of us gets a free Popeyes or something. No, but past that, I love it. It's exciting. We've had one show baby since in this last year. I think 3 almost divorces, 17 different times, right? So it's exciting.
Can add
That
that
is
stat onto the
correct.
website.
Yeah, the number of times.
Oh yeah, give us feedback, you guys. Is anyone looking at our website? We just renewed the domain. Do we
They
need
better
to
be.
renew the domain? Yeah, I'm really interested. I would love to hear some feedback from the audience. So Jbiz, Bacon, Felix, like people I know who are listening, Cordy,
Claire, Michael Bergquist.
Snelling. Well, actually, I don't want Snelling's feedback.
My
No,
mom.
forget that.
Well, and I
feel
one of my resolutions was to have audience members tell me what to play on Game Pass, and I still haven't gotten a single like rando recommendation for that. So
one thing, Chance, I think you can do to contribute to the show and it possibly growing. I've already told you, reviews, 5-minute reviews, pros, cons. Is it worth your time and money? Is it worth it at this price? Is it not worth it at all? Like I have some, and I understand. Hopefully, maybe with the summer we'll have more time to do this. It takes a while because I have. I can tell you right now, you guys. I have files right here. I have Elden clips. I have Crossfire footage. I have some stuff. I have notes on the Messenger. I have notes on Ghost of Tsushima. It's hard to get. It's not that hard to get 5 minutes of video. That's actually pretty easy. You can just change your clips and just get like 5 minutes. That's all I want of videos. But then getting it together and producing it, it is a full-time job. Like it really is. If you
it is, and since we
crazy.
don't have advanced copies, it seems a little belated to me.
I don't, but no, it doesn't. I disagree. It doesn't have. I that's one thing I appreciate about Sacred Symbols is they don't get anything early for the most part, and they do it when they do it, and people will still pay attention to your reviews. We don't need to be the first. We're not going to ever be the first where people are like, oh, I got to see what they say. Like
We might
getting
one
it
day
out there and somebody finding it. Guys, trust me. Is anyone realistically going to care about the Messenger review in 2022? Probably not, but somebody might. I go back and watch reviews. Specifically, I like the idea of it being a quick review for old games. So I think you're underestimating. We just need to get content out there, Chance. That's the bottom line. So Jose, sorry, I kind of cut you off a few times. What are you thinking about the show? What do you think we need to do better, or do we need to pay thousands of dollars to get advertising like Bubble Boy wanted? So are we going to make the big jump, or are we just going to be content with the current path that we're on, which is fine too. I'm fine with this too. It's memories, right? We're just here having fun, right, guys?
Hey, we're growing.
That's exactly what I was going to say is the reason I really started the show is because one, I wanted to talk more to two of my best friends because I didn't feel like I got to do that enough in my daily life. And so I get to do that every week, and my family supports it. My wife supports it. And that is always number one. That's my priority zero for this podcast. The second thing I would say is that, we also all started this really as kind of a time capsule for our own children and our families, because we too many times, unfortunately, learn too late that life is short, right? And we can never predict what's happening. And not to get super serious or dark, but like, God forbid one of us wasn't here in a month for some reason, how much we would cherish this time. So those two goals, I think we've hit really well. I think we'll continue to do very well as a podcast. In terms of growth, I do think we have grown. I mean, literally from going to basically the three of us listening to it to now, even if it's 20 followers, we don't have that many close friends. They're doing this because they're just being nice. I think people are coming back because they're enjoying our relationship with each other and the willingness to not always say the same things. Like, yeah, some people are going to say things like George Clooney was number 4 Batman of all time. And people appreciate that. In terms of things that I think I like that we've changed. I loved when we were doing like the food thing every week. I just, in my mind, the analytical part of me was saying like, we're going to run out of food. Like there's only so many things we can make top 5 lists for. So I like that we kind of backed off that a little bit. And we're doing it now more spread out so that I actually like that we're bringing in the TV thing, because like despite we do play a lot of games, we also do watch a lot of TV. And I think that's a great thing that people like to hear about as well. So I like that we've added that to balance it out a little bit. In terms of things I would love to see for this coming year, I still do think it'd be worth trying to monetize this somehow, whether that's through advertising, whether that's through some kind of very, very, very small Patreon. I don't think those are terrible things, or merchandising. Like legitimately, I think there would be probably our friends at first, but other people that would like to buy XRT stuff. I know we have the stickers that we give out.
This Hideo Kojima hoodie, you guys. This would be
dope.
our number one. So let's be real.
It's my number one hoodie right now. I mean, I would like to. That's
Also,
kind of my personal
when you go to
long-term.
wash it, turn it inside out and do.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm not gonna wash it. Don't worry, Chance. I'm gonna make this last as long as possible.
So no, man.
Jose, hold on. Let me interrupt you really quickly. I am shocked right now. I just looked at our podcast stats. I don't know what happened, but we've had over 100 unique listens in the past week. We've never had that before. So that's
getting out there,
kind
man.
of a
I'm
big
telling you,
deal.
and
I don't know
like,
what happened.
Well,
shout
I'll
out
tell
to
the
whoever
story.
listened.
I'll tell the story for the best food of the week, but it's
Save
bigger.
it. Yeah, save it. Let's save it for the best food. Yeah.
That's what
So
she said.
I'm actually perfect. I'm just genuinely shocked. I mean, I don't know what could contribute to that. I hope it's not all of our bosses and coworkers listening to the show. Jose, keep going.
So,
Sorry.
no,
I
just
interrupted.
to round out my thoughts, man. It's been a great year, dude. Like the reality is, people that have been made it big in podcasting or that are like the go-to podcasts, they have been doing this a lot longer than we have, with more resources and time than we have. And here's the reality. I listen to Joe and Kyle a lot. I do enjoy their podcast Trophy Room a lot. If you're a PlayStation fan, check them out. He was just talking, it's like their 5-year anniversary that they're just coming up on. The reality is 5 years is not that long, dude. Like I can tell you as a father, like the time between when Penelope was little and now she's going to be 8 here in December, it flew by. Right. And if we keep this consistent, if we keep hitting the weekly marks, despite, the schedules that we all have, because we all are busy dudes who have a full-time job outside of this, that's a demanding job. I think we can be bigger than you think. Yeah. And a family that we care about legitimately. It's exciting, man. So I don't want to keep repeating the same things, but overall it's been a great ride. I'm super excited of what's going to come for this coming year. And Dan, I don't think I've had a chance to thank you and chance to thank you. Like, again, you guys are best part of my week easily. So shout out to everything we've done and everything we're going to do.
Yeah, and absolutely thank you to all you guys. And honestly, guys, we really should be proud about not missing a week. That is a big deal. That is not easy to do. There are some podcasts I've listened to. I don't know. I feel like even Unlocked takes time off. Sacred Symbols is really good, but that's something that Colin has always, like, that's what I've learned from him, is like you need to stay consistent, and we've done that. That is impressive, and we should be proud about that. And I just want to stress that again, guys. 52 episodes without missing a full year. That's awesome, and you're right. I am excited for the next year. There's going to be so much more games to talk about that we have no idea about. Hopefully in June we'll find out more. So. Thank you and congrats to all of you. Please, guys, all of our listeners, all of our new listeners, apparently, please send us in some of your days. Tell us what you're thinking. Like, that's what we need. And Jose, if you want to set up a Patreon, we can. I wanted to get to the year mark and show to people we're committed. We did this. We made it to 1 year, 52 episodes. We didn't miss. Then we can start to grow. Like, I could have always, when I put this onto Anchor, I can say, yeah, put ads on this and it can play something at the beginning and the end or whatever. But I chose not to because I just feel like that needs to be earned to me, and I
Totally
don't like
agree.
having baked in ads with other players. And like you said, speaking of the Trophy Room, they don't play ads because even though they're a small podcast, they have enough people on Patreon who support them, which is
And I
cool.
love that about it, that I'm not like trying to drive and fast forward. Because
Yeah.
have you ever listened to an ad in a podcast? I'm 99% sure
Yes.
the answer is never.
Yeah, when you can't like skip it. Yeah, no, I agree. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, yeah, I'm hitting that 30-second skip and everything like that. And to be honest, Chance, as soon as I subscribed, I don't know why I didn't subscribe to Last Stand and Sacred Symbols earlier. Like, it has been totally worth my money. And so I don't know, something to think about. I do think merch would be cool, but how do we set that up? We're just gonna have Chance.
I'll work
in a
on that
sweatshop
one. I'll
at his
work on
house,
that.
making
Chance, you got to have
making
more
all
kids
these
so you
hoodies.
can. They can make
By
our
the way,
merch for
Chance,
us.
Allie loves the shirts for the girls.
Yeah.
I think she thinks that's her favorite. She loves the pink. And
The pink,
Grayson
yeah.
loved his. He's like, it's a mustache. I'm like, yeah, buddy, you like that? And Allie likes her.
I
Little
loved the
Housewives,
mustache
so-
one. I was like, this
Oh,
might be
yeah.
the coolest one, honestly.
They all love that pink. I think the pink one's so cool. So shout out to you for making those. Thank you. We're all wearing them. So
Yeah. Well, and
guys,
again,
I'm
be
excited.
careful about washing.
Oh, I
them.
will.
Don't-
No, I noticed. I was like, I'm not
shelf
gonna
life
wash this. So, guys, thank you for being a part of the show. Always, we need to figure out: are we going to stick with Riverside? Are we going to go to Zencaster? I have no
I don't
problem.
know,
by the
Pauline.
way.
I mean, what else you
I know,
got?
she sent me that tripod. But
Speaking of which,
I
have
was
you been
thinking
using
maybe-
the tripod at Old Guy Basketball? Because I tuned
basketball?
in.
Yeah,
Is it taller? I can't tell.
yeah, but it really is. I know you might. It really is. But I don't want to have this giant thing like being, standing out during the games.
Doesn't
I
bother
want
me.
to keep it. Well, I don't. Anyway, guys, please, all our listeners, thank you so much for listening to us. Especially
missed
thank
it.
you to all of those listeners who have been there from the beginning. Shout out to all Jbiz and Bacon probably and us who have listened to every single. Actually, Bubble Boy almost didn't even count as a part of that because he's skipping episodes here. But seriously,
I
thank
finished
you to all
50.
of our. I know. Thank you to all of our listeners. It it is fun to do. It isn't just for us. And honestly, my favorite part of the show is reading those shout outs and is getting some feedback and is talking about that stuff. So thank you again for listening to Xbox record this. Oh, and I think this is when we were actually going to talk about the name. I know we talked about it before, but does anyone want to explain why we named the podcast Xbox Record This? I do have to say, shout out first. Cordy Morgs did give the idea for the name because I originally wanted Xbox Record That, but I thought we were going to get sued. But I don't think Microsoft would have cared at this point, and I kind of wish we can still maybe change it to it down the road. But does anyone want to explain the name?
I'll do it
Go ahead,
because
Jose.
I was
Tell
the
us
one who
why we
heard it
love
the
it.
most. So for if you're a longtime Xbox fan, you probably knew right away, like Cordy Morgs did. But if you're a newer fan, or if you just didn't buy an Xbox One, you probably have no clue why we call it this. So when the Xbox One came out, remember that it came with a Kinect. It came with that thing with stock with every system, and they had this whole big vision because remember it was. In addition to being a game console, it was also for movies and shows and TV, right? That was their big sell. So the Kinect,
Talk
one
to
of the
your
features,
console.
you could talk to your console, right? So you could voice command it to have it do stuff. And so one of the features that it had was that if you were playing a game and you really liked something that just happened in your game, you could say to your Xbox record that.
Xbox Record That.
And it would record 30 seconds, right, or something like that, 15 before, 15 after of when you just said it, and it would log it.
And
And then
we
you could-
thought it was so cool because we didn't have clips at that point. Remember, that was the other big
Yeah.
thing. We didn't have some sort of DVR. People who were capturing stuff back in the old days before 2013 were using capture cards and stuff.
Yeah.
We had never experienced
Nothing like that.
recording our awesome moments in a game. Sorry, go continue, Jose.
No, it's exactly right. And so that's the funny part. You remember also that one of the big games we're playing at this time was like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, where we're all together online and just silly things happen, right? You get blown up, you come around a corner and literally get thrown in the sky. And so it'd be funny, we'd be in a freaking chat and like all of a sudden you just hear someone like laugh and they go, Xbox record that. And then they'd
Xbox
send
Record
us
That. Xbox
a clip.
Record That.
It was just nonstop. And so when Dan was thinking about a name for the Xbox, you did quite a bit of research with our group about like our logo and the name and stuff like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, you looked into getting the name Xbox Record That, but you were concerned that Xbox might come at us, and two, it wasn't available, right? Someone already took that domain.
Yeah, so I'll clarify on that. It was somewhere in like Microsoft's designated copyrights or patents or something like that. It was somewhere in one of their big mumbo jumbo files. So I'm like, I don't know about that. And also the big key I wanted our name to be easily accessible and the same across all social media.
All social
It
media,
had to
yeah.
be the same name. And that's when Cordy Morg, shout out, go ahead, Jose. He's like, well, what about Xbox Record This?
Yeah, like we just changed the one word, and we were kind of like, yeah, I like that. And again, it just had a lot of meaning for our friend group because we said it so many times, and we were sending clips to each other left and right. And admittedly, like that's one thing that is a little bit of a bummer about not having that DVR working the way we want it now. But it all said, it's a great historical thing. It'll be funny in a couple generations from now when no one remembers the Kinect or it's this silly little historical tidbit. But it's been a great story for us, and we were able to secure all the rights we need for social media. So it's been great, man. I think it's a great name.
That was the big
XRT rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, XRT. And the other thing, Jose, we didn't really mention is that all the font for our media is based on the Mass Effect font, which hopefully BioWare doesn't come after us and sue us for that too. So that was the other thing I wanted. And the logo, I gotta take credit, guys. I made that, and like I was telling Jose, I was measuring with my little ruler because I was doing this on Microsoft Paint, making sure everything was centered and sized correctly. Hours, you guys, making the XRT logo. So I hope everyone appreciates it. And I'm gonna have to make a clip of this because I think it's awesome. I'm actually, guys, thinking about it. Like, I really wonder how many people do know that Xbox Record This is a reference to the Kinect voice commands. Like
To the Xbone? I don't know.
Yeah, like I feel like Kinect is such a hated thing and a potty word to bring up. You know that I really wonder how many people know that we're referencing that awesome piece of technology. So, guys, great discussion. Let's end the show like we always do. Also, make sure your drinks are ready because I just poured mine with the best food we had this week. Does anyone want to go first, or do you guys want me to lead off? Go ahead,
I can go
Bubble Boy.
first because it's a good shout out too, and there's a story that goes along with it. But so Gateway, our Pro Start class, which is expertly ran by Sarah Field. Big shout out to her. She's an absolutely incredible teacher. The kids do a thing called Restaurant Wars in May, and each of the Pro Start kids they get into groups of 3, and they set up their own restaurant for a day, and then we like rank them and rate them and all this kind of stuff. And they make some really, really incredible stuff. And we haven't done it for the last 2 years because of COVID. And that was something that I just missed tremendously. And so the first one that came back, that was really well done. It was a slider bar. And so I had 3 different kinds of sliders. They had an appetizer that was bacon wrapped cheddar stuffed jalapenos that were amazing. I know. They were so good. And then one of the best parts, though, as I sat down next to one of our teachers, Peter Nemenoff. Do you remember Peter, Daniel? Yeah, and he looks at me, he's like, wait. He's like, you never told me you had a podcast with Dan the homeless man. It's just cracking up. And if you're watching
Not
on YouTube,
politically correct.
you can see that Daniel's not happy with that moniker. But we were talking and I forget what he said, how he found out about it, but then everybody at the table was like, well, send it to me. I want to download it. I want to listen. So,
oh my God, it's all the teachers listed. For like
That's how our numbers
like, listen to these nerds talk. I was going to plummet down to like 15 viewers next week. Anyway, keep going.
no, that's it. So they hit the Pro Start best food of my week. So
Speaking of real quick, a Pro Start, my Pro Start at Bear Creek, they actually butchered a quarter of a cow in class this week. Like literally brought in this huge cow leg and threw it on the table. And they actually brought in a real life butcher and he showed them how like the cuts work and how you clean it. And I got to go in and like film it for our social media. Dude, it was cool, man. Like I honestly didn't know about any of that stuff too. Like, so that was a cool experience. Pro Start's rad. If you like to cook, you should check it out.
Guys, I just want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Mike Danley. We went over there today to my brother and sister-in-law, Allie's sister. And we had a nice little barbecue today, you guys. And it was just nice to be out. It was nice weather this weekend. Grilled some burgers, had a delicious guac, some salsa, some a fruit salad that Allie made. And it was just phenomenal. Just a great time. Had played a little bit of the old cornhole. So it was just nice to have, like Jose brought up, the best food out of this week was just that barbecue setting and being in a nice, and not being sick and, being healthy. The kids were playing nonstop today, didn't take their naps, passed out. That's why I was able to get on earlier because they were all in bed by 7:30, which is shocking over here. So shout out to the family for the food I had. And I'm trying to think if also, I got a quick shout out, guys. I had Buffalo Wild Wings again. Gosh, it's so good. Asian Zing Mango Habanero. Jose, what was the best food you had this week?
So I want a quick honorable mention just because it's a fast food product. I feel like I haven't had a lot of fast food recently, but earlier this week I went to A&W real quick because I had to get out of the building for a second, and I tried their barbecue crunch burger. And it was good, man. Would I get it again? Probably not, but it basically is it's like their standard single burger, but it's got like the French fried onions on it and barbecue sauce. It was a little sweet for my taste, honestly, but I thought it was pretty good. And so if you like that
Jose,
sweet
wait,
baby
wait, wait.
Ray's.
Did you go back and get Whopper melts? That's what we need to know.
I didn't go back. I should have, and I didn't. I was gonna do it on Friday. I was gonna actually go out and get a BK melt again, but my principal actually bought us lunch from Taco Celine. So shout out to Lynn for doing that. But the best food I had this week was actually last night. It came in as a last minute candidate. We went to Perry's Pizza, which is a chain. It's from New York, but there's actually one out here in my house, and we had a New Mexican Yankee, which was delightful. I have a couple slices left. I'm gonna go get down on those guys here as we get ready for games here in a bit. But it's basically a white base, and it's cheese and green chili and chicken and white ketchup. It was absolutely fantastic. If your Perry Pizza is anywhere near you, they have really awesome combinations of their pizza, very reasonable. They also have great beer and stuff like that. So shout out to Perry's. That was the best food that I had this week.
Nice. I remember you brought Perry's on like one of the first shows that we recorded together, Jose. So it's really funny. I love Perry's. That's the one thing I had back in Parker that I missed. Jose, where is the nearest Perry's to you?
It's
and
at
us,
River
I
Point
guess.
by the Costco over there.
Okay, very nice. That's
Yeah.
not too far. So
Right next to
definitely
a Buffalo Wild Wings,
can
as
do that.
it were.
Oh, I already knew that. You don't have to tell me that. And there's a Chili's there too. Love Chili's. Guys, this has been Xbox Record This episode 52. 52 straight weeks, 1 year of episodes. Guys, let's take a moment right now before we sign off. Let's get those drinks. Audience members, all of you, congrats and thank you. I will be partaking in a nice shot of Patron Silver. Jose, what are you going to be drinking while we
I got
cheers?
a nice Di Serono, which is amaretto, and Dr. Pepper. I've been sipping on it all night. Delicious Italian. Chance, how about you, buddy?
Right.
Yeah,
What do
the
you-
outlaw, the Mystic
Mountain?
Mountain outlaw white peach, and
Oh,
hard pass. So don't
already?
ever do it again.
Guys, audience, thank you all. And here's to 52 episodes of Xbox Record This. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Dude, Patron is so smooth, you guys. I
So
don't even,
good.
I let it sit in my mouth for a while and just enjoyed it. It's I
Dan,
didn't
fun
have to-
fact. Your fun fact. Do you know how much a shot of Patron costs in Las Vegas?
I do.
Chance
$12.
does.
Yeah.
Chance, how
it was
much does that shot of
$24. $24 probably.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I just
That's
I
a story
always,
for another
I always
time.
used to, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've tried to share some stories, but Chance is like, no.
Oh, stop. Are we still recording? I can't even tell.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are
so,
still
yes,
recording. Guys,
yes, there are some
my
worth
name
sharing.
is DaddyDWALLY. You can find me at DaddyDWALLY across all social media. By the way, I hope our audio listeners check out the video this week. I have my new setup back here, and I'm thinking it looks pretty dang good, my set. So I'm pretty happy about that. Got a new camera. Hopefully Patreon could reimburse. Wait a second. I can write this as a write-off, right, Jose? This is a business, so I'm going to... Right? Doesn't
I am
that
not a
apply?
tax consultant, but
Do you
gotta
know
ask
what a
somebody who knows.
write-off is?
Yeah, it means I spent the money on it, and
you'll get $8
and I can
back
claim
on
it
it.
for. Well, it's something. Anyway, you can find me at DaddyDWALLY. What? But I'm gonna try
I
to
don't
do
know,
a better
but
job.
they're the ones
streaming.
writing it off.
What movie is that, bro?
Seinfeld, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Kramer, do you know what a write-off is? No, but
Guys,
they do.
please tune in to my streams. I'm going to try to do a better job. Thank you so much for listening. 52 weeks. We are going to continue with another 52, and we're all excited. Jose, where can people find you?
You can always find me at Chipotle_bear on Twitter, or you can find me at ChipotleBear on Xbox as well as on Instagram. Hit me up.
And Bubble Boy, can people find you still, or did you delete your
Maybe
social
they got to
media
look
recently?
hard, but I tried to tag XRT in an Instagram and was not allowed to because XRT does not follow me. So that was kind of a big ole.
I can't follow everybody, you guys. It's do you want to be our social media brand
XRT
manager?
can't follow Bubble Boy. No, but I also we gotta set up the. I don't know if you're putting it at the beginning or the end, but
Yes, I was gonna say mention that.
Yeah, so Cora and Penelope doing a review of Donut County in their pink shirts, it was fun to do and pretty hilarious. And then also I'm gonna put, Daniel, you have to put this in there. I found my ultimate quintessential Xbox record that moment, and I just texted it to both of you guys. It was a Battlefield 1 moment with Goose.
Yep.
Goose getting run over. And you can see in our squad, I think Miggy and Snell were there. It's just the greatest. So those are coming.
You want me to put this into the show video?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
Yeah,
easy.
like at
Yeah,
the very
okay.
end of the
Okay.
Jose explaining where the name comes from, because that was
Oh, you're
my,
asking for too much.
my
5 minutes.
favorite-
Well,
Just make it
okay,
an extra clip.
Yeah,
Just
no.
make it an extra
Remind
clip.
me to do that for the clip. I will do that for the clip that when we were talking about the name of the show. Remind me about that. And for the video of Chance's daughter and Jose's daughter reviewing Donut County. I will put that after this exit, like we always do. It will be on there, tagged at the end. So if you want to listen to that, it will be after our sign off, and then it will also be. Am I allowed to post the video, Chance? I don't.
Yes,
my permission.
Stop with that.
As always, gentlemen, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Remember, kid, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you never go wrong.
All right, we're officially live, girls.
Yay.
Yeah. Penelope, those are the coolest headphones.
There's Scarlet's, but mine don't work.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang it. What kind do you have?
Black ones.
Black
These
one.
are my headphones.
Mono price
okay.
ones.
All right.
Yeah, we used a little splitter on the back of the Elgato Wave, and we have dual headphones, which is rad, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was looking and I was just like, we'll just use the iPad for this. That'll work just fine.
Oh yeah.
And you're
It's,
rocking your cool t-shirt, I see, Penelope.
both of us, right?
I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
XRT repping.
Pretty princesses over here.
You're like video game
Okay.
royalty.
Heck yeah. Okay, so Penelope, Cora has a question for you. Do you remember what your question is? You don't remember?
What's your favorite part of Donut County?
Probably getting stuff in the hole.
Oh. Yeah, and your dad will just skip over that. What do you call it thing? Well, we were so happy you told us how fun that game was, Penelope, because we loved it, didn't we, Cora? What was your favorite part, Cora?
Getting done with it.
Getting done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, yeah, she's just all about flying through and finishing and racking up that Chivo score, I guess. Yeah.
My favorite level was the one with the snakes and the ranger.
That was your
yeah.
favorite?
I remember that one. Those snakes scared me, though. It was not my favorite.
It was
But
fun.
I did like getting rid of them.
I liked that one.
What was your favorite one?
I like what Penelope likes.
Yeah.
I like the one with the popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. Well, Cora, what'd you think about the last levels? The last ones were pretty tough. We thought we had to do
Yeah,
them
I
together.
didn't even do the very last one. It was too hard.
Yeah, Daddy had to help, and Daddy was stumped a little bit even on some of those.
Yeah, tag
With
team,
the
right? Teamwork.
gumball machine.
Teamwork?
With the gumball machine.
I love it.
I couldn't get it in the hole. It was too big. It was too big.
Yep, you're right. It was monstrous.
Yeah.
So Cora, we have to ask you then. So I was telling Penelope on XRT, we have an official rating scale. Every time we play a game, there are two questions we ask. Is it worth your time? Meaning, like, was it fun to play?
Yeah.
And number two, is it worth your money? So Penelope, what did you think? You think it was worth your time?
Yeah.
Cora, do you think it was worth your time?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. Okay. And how about, was it worth the money?
It was free.
Yeah.
Ah,
you know it because it
yes.
was on Game Pass.
Atta girl. Atta girl. What about you, Cora? Was it worth your money or Daddy's money?
If Dad's paying, heck yes, it
Yeah.
was. So then
Penelope,
the
I
other,
want to know, have you been playing any other games?
Yeah.
What have you
I play
played?
Mario Kart. I play Mario Kart 8 sometimes.
Cool. That's awesome.
And
what
what do
character
we-
do you like to be?
The cat Peach.
I like it. Of course, the kitty, right?
Yeah, the cat.
of course, of course.
Of
The other thing,
course.
what else did we play on Game Pass together not too long ago? It's one of your favorite
The
shows.
Cars.
No, the show you like.
The Last Kids on Earth game.
Ooh, I don't know if I know that one.
It's about monsters and kids fighting.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a show on Netflix, Cora, called The Last Kids on Earth, and
Yeah.
it's about these four friends
Yes.
who are the last kids on Earth, and they kind of like befriend some monsters, but there's also bad monsters and zombies. and they made a game for it on Xbox. It's an arcade game. You can play up to 4 people. We've only played with
wow.
2.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
We
Cora, have
tried
you been
Paw
playing?
Patrol.
Oh, how
Cora
was Paw
liked that
Patrol?
one, but what have you been playing lately, Cora?
Lego Star Wars.
Ooh.
That's cool. Do you like it, Cora?
Mhm.
What's your favorite part? Who's your favorite character?
Boba Fett, cause you push A to 10 really fast, and then it flies. Then it flies.
Oh, you get to use his jetpack?
Mhm.
That's
Sure
rad.
do.
Mhm.
In the Last Kids on Earth game, it starts with 2, then goes to 3, then 4
Mm,
in the movie.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Well, I think we have to end it like we end every show, unless you have more questions. With what's the best food you had this week, Penelope?
I don't know.
What was the best food you had at Disney World?
Yeah,
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
of course.
Gotta love ice
What
cream.
was the? I forgot to ask too about that. What was your favorite ride?
Barnstormer.
Ooh, that's
It's
a good
a
one.
roller coaster.
That's a good one.
Yep. Cora, what was the best food you had this week, girlfriend?
We went to Great Wolf Lodge a couple weeks ago, and I liked doing the pool because they had slides.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you said what was your favorite food this last week? We had. Do you remember what we had on Saturday night? One of Penelope's favorites.
Candy chicken.
Yeah.
Candy chicken.
Yep.
Today I had pizza for lunch.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
I had nachos.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, it was nacho day yesterday.
Ah,
Love
I
it.
got nachos today.
Cool. All right. Well, can we finish it the same way we always do?
Sure.
So the way we always do it is we say, see you online. So you can, after Chance and I say it, can you girls say it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, folks, this has been a special edition XRT Extra for our 1-year anniversary with 2 of our super fans and video game royalty, Penelope and Cora. And as always, Spartans, see you online.
See you on
see you online.
See you online.
All right. Good job, guys. You did awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Penelope.
Bye, Cora.
Bye bye.
Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at DaddyDWALLY on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.